YouTube, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. We are here for today's episode at the Bettors Edge, and we have an absolute brilliant matchup in the SEC going down early this afternoon. We are going to Lexington in Kentucky, Rupp Arena. We have the Kentucky Wildcats at home against the number 5 ranked team in the country and the Florida Gators. Right now, the Gators are sitting as 6.5-point favorites at Rupp Arena. We've seen this matchup already once this season. We went back about a month or so ago, and it was an absolute shootout at the Swamp. 92-83, Florida was able to prevail in the first matchup in this series. We see two teams here that love to get up and down the court and that love to play fast. We know both these teams are top 50 in the country as far as pace is concerned. The Florida Gators are even faster than that. They're top 25. These teams are going to run. They're going to get a ton of shots up, both of them. When we're looking at this matchup and we take a look at not only how these teams play stylistically, but also how that first matchup unfolded. We know both of these teams are long, both of these teams are big, both these teams have size, and both these teams like to dominate the glass. The Florida Gators are probably the best team in the country as far as generating second chance opportunities. In that first matchup, we saw the Gators generate 16 offensive rebounds. That's usually what the Gators kind of hang their hat on. However, in this type of matchup, they're going toe-to-toe, neck and neck with an opponent that likes to play similar brand of basketball. As I mentioned, another top 50 team in the country as far as pace, but in that first matchup, we also saw the Kentucky Wildcats get 12 offensive rebounds. From a total rebounding perspective, the Gators did win the battle on the glass, but they also shot the ball at home a little bit better than Kentucky did. I don't think you're going to see a huge advantage on the glass tonight at Rupp. Definitely not as big of an advantage as Florida likes to get against their opponents. And I think we're going to see Kentucky be able to neutralize to an extent. I still expect Florida to win the battle on the glass, but I expect them to neutralize it to an extent where it doesn't cost them the game. What we saw in that first matchup and what really edged out the game for Florida were two things. Number one, they shot the ball better from the free throw line. They had more attempts and they shot a higher percentage in that first matchup. Number two, and the biggest thing was they had 25 fast break points. The turnover battle in that first game was near identical. It's not that Kentucky necessarily turned the ball over significantly more than Florida, but Florida was able to turn those turnovers into fast break points, and Kentucky really wasn't able to do so, not to the extent that Florida was. With that said, how do I see this game shaping up? I see this game shaping up similarly to what we saw in Florida in that first matchup. We're going to see 65-plus shot attempts from both teams, which is a ton of shots in one game. You're talking about 130 total field goal attempts in one game. That's a big number. We're going to see both teams attack the offensive glass. Florida's going to get their offensive rebounds. They're probably going to win that battle. But as I mentioned already, I expect Kentucky to be able to neutralize it to an extent and also get their fair share of offensive rebounds. Florida's now moving on the road, whereas in that first game, they were at home. Kentucky shot the three ball really well in that first matchup. They hit 9 out of 20 threes. I think they're going to be able to shoot the three ball relatively well again tonight. I don't expect to see a major uptick in Florida's three-point shooting from how they performed in that first game at home versus how they performed tonight or this afternoon on the road. However, what Kentucky's going to have to do a better job of is minimizing Florida in transition. I'm not necessarily sure they're going to be able to minimize their turnovers more than they had in that first game because they were right around their season average, maybe an uptick more than their season average. I think that's going to maintain the same tonight because there's a ton of a ton of possessions in the game. but they have to neutralize Florida in transition when those turnovers do occur. If they turn the ball over, their transition defense has to be on point. If they can do that, and they can continue to shoot the ball well from three-point line, and they can maintain the edge that Florida has and neutralize it on the glass to a small extent, give me the Kentucky Wildcats at home tonight, plus 6.5 points to keep this game relatively close. We saw a first half in Florida where Florida won that first half by 9 points, and we saw a second half totaling nearly 100 points just in the second half, where Kentucky went toe-to-toe for them 49-49 and didn't give them an edge in that second half. I think it's the best play on the board. This is a rivalry on the hardwood. We know that for many, many years of SEC ball, these two teams competing. Rupp Arena is going to be absolutely electric. They have a top 5 opponent in the country coming to town, and we know Lexington, Kentucky on a Saturday afternoon at Rupp Arena knows how to get down. Give me the Kentucky Wildcats plus 6.5. I wouldn't be shocked whatsoever if they win this game outright. It's a 20-star play on Saturday afternoon. It's the best bet on the board, and it's the final play that I have on YouTube heading into the major conference tournaments. Guys, as always, thanks for watching the videos. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll be back.